Hello and welcome to the Unlocked podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Locke, professional speaker, magician and confidence coach, and quite simply, Unlocked is a journal of self-improvement. I'm talking to the experts, authors and successful people from around the world, as well as sharing my mishaps and magical adventures in my own life too, to unlock the best version of ourselves. My aim is to give you some insight and inspiration so you can unlock the best version of yourself too. Now, if this sounds like your cup of tea, then hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my latest episodes released every Wednesday. Now, relax and enjoy the show. Have you ever wanted to write your own book? Well, how about writing a best-selling book? Welcome to this week's episode of Unlocked. This week, I am joined with Vikrant Shaurya, who is the founder and CEO of bestsellingbook.com. For the last decade, Vikrant has perfected a process to transform fuzzy book ideas into actual number one bestsellers on the likes of Amazon, the Wall Street Journal, and USA Today. If you are interested in writing your own book, or you're interested in making a best-selling book, but you are a writer, but you really want to publish your own book one day, then this is the episode for you. You're going to learn how to write that best-selling book and how it can transform your life, just like it did for Vikrant, and also how to transform that fuzzy book idea into being a number one bestseller. It's a fantastic episode, and don't forget, if you do enjoy this episode, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser and let us know what you think to the episode. Now, without further ado, enjoy this episode. Today's guest is Vikrant Shaurya. He is the founder and CEO of bestsellingbook.com. He's a young disruptor who's merged his entrepreneurial spirit with his lifelong passion for books, creating groundbreaking strides in the best-selling book industry. For a decade, Vikrant perfected a process to transform fuzzy book ideas into actual number one bestsellers on the likes of Amazon, the Wall Street Journal, and USA Today. He's even tested it out on himself with stellar results, earning 6 digits only 2 months after launching his own number one bestseller, How to Write a Bestseller and Become a Best-Selling Author, Attract High-Value Clients, and Skyrocket Your Authority. Welcome to the Unlocked podcast, Vikrant. How are you?
Thank you so much, Ricky, for that lovely introduction. I'm doing really good and really excited for our conversation today.
Fantastic. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, and you are my first international guest. And I think when you said it's about 20 to 7 in the evening where you are.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Well, it's a pleasure to have you on here, and I'm really looking forward to deep diving into your story, because you have a really incredible story of where you've got to right now, which I think will inspire a lot of the listeners. But we gave a little bit of a great intro, obviously a little bit about what you do, but tell us a little bit more, Vikrant. Who are you and what is it that you do?
Sure. So I'm, as you mentioned, I own bestsellingbook.com, where we help entrepreneurs, thought leaders, coaches, experts, people who have amazing ideas and stories to share with the world in the form of a book, but they are super busy, or they don't have the skill set to write a professional looking book. So they are stuck. They are not able to take the ideas which they have in their mind into paper, and they are not also able to take that into the published state. So they are not able to turn those ideas into a published book. So what we do is we have a done for you system, which it means that they just come to us. We interview them, we exactly understand their book ideas, message, stories, experience, and expertise. And we write the book for them in their authentic voice with their personality. And we not only write the book, we do all kind of steps involved in the publishing and marketing process, like editing, doing the proofreading, cover designing, book formatting. We publish the book, we market the book, we get sales, we get reviews, and we also get number one bestseller on Amazon. If you don't hit bestseller, we refund 3 times their investment. So that's our claim. So this is what we do, and this is how we are helping our clients.
Fantastic. And there's loads of testimonials and success stories that we can see from the website, and you've helped out hundreds and hundreds of people. So we will put a link in the show notes for people to find out more about this. And later on in the episode, we're going to take a bit of a deep dive into this, because I think it's fascinating how you've created this wonderful company. But I'd like to just kind of rewind and go back a little bit, because I know that you have an incredible story that's led you to this point. So if you wouldn't mind, Vikrant, share with me and to the listeners how you got to this point now.
Sure. So I guess 11 years ago, I was in an engineering college, and I used to hate the lectures. I used to hate everything about whatever goes into the classrooms, because it used to be extremely theoretical. And I'm kind of a practical guy. I want to see things moving. And they used to just, even if when they used to take us to the laboratory, it used to be just theory, right? No practical stuff. And I was still not clear what I would be doing in my life, but I was pretty much sure that I really don't want to become an engineer. And so I guess I was in the third semester of my college, and where I found this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Great book.
And I read that book. It completely changed my perception about finance and life. And the very same day, I decided to do something of my own. And the very same day, I just dropped out of the college. So I dropped out. I got a business idea, and I started a company with that business idea. But long story short, I had no experience. I was just 19 years of age, and the business failed. Right, within 6 months, I had to shut down the company. I made a bunch of mistakes. Right, there are plenty of mistakes, but yeah, I learned from them. And then I had no money to pay my bills, my electricity, my rents. So then what happened was I was searching online how to make money online with zero investment because I had no money. And I stumbled upon self-publishing. I got to know that I could write books, I could publish books. But the problem was I used to get the lowest grades in English subject. English is not my first language, and I had no experience with writing. So somehow I was able to write the book and publish the book. I started making some money. But yeah, in the process, I identified a system through which even those people like who are not having a skill set to write a book, they can also write their book, right? So I have developed that system. So the system which I developed, it was specifically for me, but now we are using it for other people. So once I started writing books for myself under my pen names, I started making some money. I also started helping people like with my coaching and consultation. And I guess 6 to 7 years ago, I shifted the entire company, right? Initially, we were into coaching and consultation space, but just because so many people were reaching out to us, mentioning that we don't have the time, we don't have the skill set to write a book. And then we decided to start this done for you services. Basically, we providing all the services for them, and then helping them with the entire process. And of course, I'm in India, but the company is in States. It is incorporated in States. All the writers, editors, proofreaders we have, they are from States. So we have a pool of over thousands of writers and editors and proofreaders. And we have helped, I guess, more than 500 clients till date, and turn their ideas into best-selling books. So yeah, this is my journey, and this is how I came here.
It's an incredible journey, and thank you for sharing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's a great book, and it really gets you to think about things in life, and especially with financing as well. I'm particularly interested in that point when you're going on this path of life, and you decided that you don't want to be an engineer anymore. What does your family and your friends all say to that when you're heading in a direction and then you completely change direction? What do they say?
Everyone in my life was completely against of this decision. My close friends, my family. There was, of course, only one person who was standing with me. She was my girlfriend. By the way, now she's my wife.
Yes, yes. I think, and if I've done my research right, I think she helped to design some graphics for the book. Is that right?
Yes. So she helped me with the proofreading of the book. So remember the first book which I wrote? I was a terrible writer. Somehow I was able to compile this 200 pages book, but she was really good with grammars and stuff. So she helped me with the proofreading, and then I was able to publish the book. So yeah, she was the only one who supported me. But other than that, everyone were really upset with my decisions, including my parents. Now they're really happy, but
Yes. Yeah.
back then, of course, it was very difficult phase when it comes to the relationships. I guess there was a time when I was not in talking terms with my parents. I think 6 months, 1 year, I was not able to talk to them, right?
Wow.
So yeah, I was alone, almost completely alone. It was tough, man. Like especially when, but I really didn't care. I knew that what I didn't want in my life, even if I would be becoming a really great engineer, I knew that I won't be happy. So it wasn't for me. I was crystal clear in my mind, even even in business or even in current state as well. If someone is going to be offering me maybe $1 million or maybe $1 billion as well to go and again become an engineer, I would not go there. This is
Completely
not
off the
for me.
cards. Yeah.
Yeah. So money, of course, matters, but it really doesn't matter. Like if I have to choose as a entire career path, I really don't want to go, right? So, like whenever we are working, right, as an entrepreneur, we are giving at least maybe 6 hours, 10 hours, maybe more than that every day for this, right? So we are spending maybe 50% of our life on our career, usually, right, on
Yeah.
average. And if your career, like you really hate your career, if you really like every day, it is kind of a suffocation for you, that's not worth it.
Yeah.
Even if you'll make maybe less money, even if you have to sacrifice a few things, but if you're happy with whatever you're doing, that's a worth it. That's a worth it life, right? So
Definitely.
So this is what I believe. Yeah, and I also go with this principle today itself. And I'm really happy that I took that decision. And by the like we are financially fine, but initially it was tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was the only one, and also my girlfriend, like who believed in me. And yeah, I'm happy that I took that decision.
Definitely. And that determination has paid off now because you're now helping, inspiring, over 500 people, you were saying there, to get their own books out there, which I think everybody wants to write a book. It's something that I want to do one day, and it's always there. So I totally empathize with people that say I just don't have the time. So creating that service is absolutely amazing. So I love that. So you've gone from this position of not really happy with where you're going in life. You've now changed trajectory, and then you start to write this book. So when this leads on to the best selling, what happened to get your first book? Because I believe, the first couple of books, eventually then one of them became a bestseller. Is that right?
So initially, it wasn't about bestsellers. It was all about writing books, publishing book, and maybe making some royalties from the book. My initial goal was just to pay my rents and my bills.
Yeah.
That was the only thing. I didn't know that anything about bestseller things, right? I had no idea about that. But what happened was, initially it was all about writing books, publishing book, and maybe getting some reviews, marketing book sales. It wasn't about bestsellers. But the thing is, when we started helping people, initially, of course, it was coaching and consultation. But when we shifted to this done for you model, the initially the company's name wasn't bestsellingbook.com. It was
it Book
it was
Factory?
it was the Books Factory,
Yeah.
because we were producing books. But we got to know that almost all the books which we were producing, and when we were doing the marketing, almost all of the books, they were becoming bestsellers, right? We were able to get good reviews. And then we also started doing Wall Street Journal and US Today as well. So that's the reason, I guess 2 or 3 years ago, we decided to rebrand the entire company. We bought this domain, bestsellingbook.com. It was expensive, pretty much very, very expensive, but we thought, let's do it. Like this is their ultimate goal. Because with the Books Factory, we were having some issues with SEO, or also people were getting confused whether it is Books Factory or the Book Factory.
Of course, yeah.
Right. So, but now it is crystal clear that it is bestsellingbook.com, and this is their ultimate goal, which we will be delivering, right? So it's a reflection of what we do and what's their end goal they will be able to achieve with us. So that's why we renamed we rebranded the entire company.
Love that. So if we can explore this then, what is the measure of a best-selling book? So for example, me, and if there's a few listeners out there that has this idea, they want to publish a book, they might want to contact you after this and say, hey, can you help obviously write this book for me? What is the measure of a bestseller?
It depends on exactly which platform you are going for. So there are different type of platforms. So first one, which is the most prestigious one, it is New York Times bestseller. And it's and it is the most trickiest one, right? We are still trying to figure it out. The thing is, like, it is volatile. Like, it depends on too many things. Like, there's so many variables involved. Even if the thing is, like, book sales doesn't matter with New York Times. The editors of New York Times, they personally handpick those books, and sometimes they go with the reviews of the book. Sometimes they go with the media which the book got. Sometimes they go with the sales. Sometimes they go with everything, right? So it is very, very tricky. But yeah, usually you have to get around maybe 20,000 sales in a week, right? 15 to 20,000 sales in a week to hit New York Times bestseller, but that's not guaranteed, right? You also need a few different things as well. You also need maybe more than 50 to 60 podcast appearance. You also need traditional media coverage. You also need feature on maybe Entrepreneur, Forbes, Inc., right? These type of platforms. Then maybe they will be choosing it. It's not under our control.
Of course, yeah.
And then comes Wall Street Journal bestseller and USA Today bestsellers. On these platforms, it is way more predictable than New York Times. It completely depends on the number of sales you're getting. We are talking about the ebook sales. So if you're able to get around 7,000 sales in a week, you can easily hit bestsellers on these platforms, right? 99.99% times, right? And of course, sometimes if there are so many books, because usually they just go with 10 books in a week, right, in different categories. So if there's so many books published and everyone's promotion is really right, then maybe you may miss the thing. But if you are getting 7,000 sales in a week, then usually you will be hitting the bestsellers over there. The third is the Amazon bestseller. It's actually one of the most easiest one, but still there's a proper system and proper formula which you have to go for, right? So with Amazon bestseller, you have to find out the right categories. You have to find out the profitable categories, which also has less competition, right? So there are some tools and softwares through which you can easily find out how many sales the number one book is getting in any specific category. For example, if your book is all about maybe entrepreneurship, with the tool, one of the tools name is Publisher Rocket. Right? You can simply Google that and you can find, I think it is $99 one-time investment, and you can find profitable keywords, categories, right? So you can use that and you can find the right categories. If you find out that your book is going to fall under entrepreneurship, and if the number one book is getting 500 sales in a day, so your goal is to get more than 500 sales in a day to outrank the number one book and to hit bestseller on Amazon. So, So this is what it takes for different platforms to become or hit bestsellers.
Yeah. Wow. So potentially then you could be, if my thinking's right here, you could potentially be a bestseller for a day. And then you've got that title then forever, haven't you, to say that you are a number one bestseller on Amazon or whatever platform that you choose it on.
This is the thing. Like, once a bestseller, always a bestseller. So even on New York Times as well, authors become bestseller for a week, and then even if they're not getting any sales at all for the entire lifetime, they can call themselves New York Times bestseller.
Of course, yeah. Wow.
Right. So this is how it is.
And I guess that's that establishing that credibility and authority, isn't it? You know, if someone has on LinkedIn or also on their website, you know, New York Times bestseller, it's obviously going to go, oh, okay. they've got a good
Mm.
book, haven't they? So brilliant. Well, I remember I had a bit of experience with this because as briefly mentioned just before the call,
Mm.
I've published books on KDP on Amazon, self-publishing, just like notebooks. A couple of colouring books for kids, and that whole research in terms of the SEO to find the right keywords. Because I remember when I was looking, self-publishing is quite big, it's quite huge, and obviously with the lockdown, I think it's grown even more. To be found on even page one of Amazon, or so it's tricky, isn't it? It's difficult. So I guess, like you said, there's those other supporting tools. So not just only are you getting the book out, but then you've got that publishing of, well, let's go have
Mm.
an interview, let's go have a magazine thing, and
Yeah.
let's go do that. But I guess for anyone that comes to you that says, you know what, I really have this great idea, why is it important to get a book published?
Initially, I thought that writing a book can only help you with the professional level. But yeah, let me cover those professional points as well.
Yeah.
So it definitely somehow when you say that you're an author or a best-selling author, people trust you. I've seen it several times, and it really helps you establish trust. It really helps because if you are an author on a specific topic, for example, if you are looking for maybe a funnel, like someone, an expert on funnel, right, who can actually do the funnel building for your maybe online course which you're launching, and you shortlisted 10 people, and then out of these 10 people, one person is an author or a best-selling author, you would be more inclined towards going with that person because this person has written a book about how to launch a successful funnels for your maybe e-commerce business or your website, whatever it is. The thing is, somehow you will know that this person is credible. He knows his stuff, right? And if he's a best-selling author, like you would be way more inclined towards going with this person, right? This is how our brain works somehow. And Brian Tracy said this several years ago that to become an author, to become an authority, you have to become an author because in authority, the first few letters are author. So yeah, it really helps you establish the trust, authority, and also expertise in your industry. The second is once you publish the book, now it's up to you. Like if you use the right funnel inside your book, you can use the book to get more clients, generate leads, get more speaking gigs, right? So it completely depends on your goal. It completely depends on what is your why, what is your purpose, why exactly did you want to write the book in the first place? And the book can help you do all of these things. Let me share you one pretty much case study which works really good for our clients and specifically the speakers, right? So if you are a speaker on a certain topic, right, and you have published a book, now, even if you have got 0 sales on your book, right, maybe a few reviews, you can still get speaking gigs with your book. How? So you find out maybe top 100 events around your topic, right, who perform a speaking organization, and actually they call speakers around the topic. You create a list of those 100 people, and then you also find their address, and then you get 100 copies of your book, really like professional hardcover copies. Along with that, a handwritten notes, right, with every book. And you send it to every person. And in the handwritten note, it would be something like, hey, just want to send you this gift. I know that you organize events on these topics. I also talk about these things. I just wanted to, just for the appreciation, like I just wanted to share this gift with you. If you think maybe sometime I can help your audience in any way, you can give me a call on this number.
Brilliant.
And it works really well for speakers because out of 100, they usually get maybe 5 or 10 calls, right? And if they are charging maybe 20K or 10K, even 10K, even if they get three opportunities or 3 gigs, they with 100 books itself, they got $30,000 business.
Hey, it's Ricky here, and I'm just pausing the episode really quickly to remind you that you can watch video episodes with all guests, receive bonus behind-the-scenes content, and extra episodes, all for as little as just the price of a cup of coffee. You can do this in the Unlocked Patreon community, but rather than me tell you why you should join, here's one of our Patreon members and what they have to say.
Why do I think being a patron of the Unlocked podcast is awesome? Ricky. That's it. I've known Ricky for a very long time. We worked together back in the day at Argos. He's always been supportive, engaging, and one hell of a magician. Still don't know how he does half that stuff. This podcast is everything that Ricky is all about, and being a patron, I get to support him in this journey, and I get to learn some really useful stuff along the way. We get some exclusive content as patrons, and it's so worth missing out on a coffee each month. So come and join us. You won't regret it.
So just like Ant, to get involved, head to patreon.com/the Unlocked Podcast or click the link in the show notes and come and join the fun. Now, back to the episode.
Right. And same happens with the clients as well. Like you can send the book to your potential clients, send it to their business addresses or maybe to their home address, or also you can generate leads. Right. So depending on your goals, like the book can really help you do that. Right.
Yeah.
So then comes the personal level. And I recently have identified that after interviewing so many people or so many authors we have worked with. So it really helps you with the professional level, but it also helps you clear your thought process. When you are in the process of writing book, you like somehow before the writing process, you had too many ideas, too many stories everywhere. Now everything is just in 200 pages book. Yeah. Now you have a product with almost all the ideas and stories and experience which you had properly organized in the book. So it's kind of a self-healing process. You would become a different person when you are finally able to write that book. So these are the different whys, like why people should write a book and how it can help them, not only professionally, but also personally, transform the entire mindset, right?
Yeah, well, there's that legacy, isn't there? I've recently had a daughter who's over 3 months old now. And for me, there's this constant thought in my mind thinking that when I, as sad as it sounds, but if I pass away one day, by writing a book, that's be something that she will remember, or I can leave that legacy. And I particularly like the idea of the, I've heard before about some people writing books, and they made a joke saying you don't write books to make money; it's to then get other stuff like inquiries. So like that idea of reciprocity there, everybody loves getting something in the post, like a parcel. So if I received a book in the post and went, oh wow, that's a very kind gesture. That seed is then planted in my mind that thinks, maybe I want to do some work with this person, or maybe I want to see more. And it happened to me last year. Somebody sent a book to come on the podcast, never heard of them before. But I went, okay, there's some really interesting stuff in this book that would be really good for the podcast. And then it kind of... So this is a great asset. So to kind of recap a lot of the stuff we've had, so there's obviously the authority that this is going to establish. There's the credibility of being an expert of your category. I love that whole thing about the personal thing about this is going to just kind of declutter everything and just get it straight into 200 pages. It's there. It's a legacy. It's also going to kind of project your business either with more speaking gigs and other stuff. So if we go back, this sounds like really great. I'm like, yeah, really excited. Let's go for it. So, okay, now maybe there's people listening out there that say, you know what, I've got an outline of my book, or I've got an idea, but what are the barriers that sometimes stops people from doing this? So I know time has to be the main answer that always happens in your consultations that you book, but what sort of things do you regularly see when people say, Vikrant, look, I've got an idea, but what do you often hear from people?
So as you have already covered the time factor, I'm not going to be covering that. But yeah, there are a few more different reasons why people are stuck. And one of the reason is whenever they have a book idea and they want to start working with the book, I'm so much amazed to know this, that most of the people, they start with chapter number 1. Which is fine. But the thing is, these people, they have established their business and they had started with a business plan, but somehow with their book, they are not starting with a book plan or you can say book outline.
Yeah.
They don't have a working book outline ready. So what they do is they always start with chapter number 1. And after maybe 2 or 3 pages, they get stuck. They don't know what to do because they don't have other chapters or other pointers that which they can write on. They always want to go from point A to point Z, like alphabetically, right?
Yeah.
So with having a book outline can really help you fix this problem. So if you are, for example, if you are in the zone of working on the chapter number 1, you can write on the chapter number 1, but maybe you don't want to write at some point on that thing, or something is not like the ideas are not coming for the chapter number 1, but just because you have all the outline ready, so you can work on maybe chapter number 6, right? So
Yeah.
so what you are doing is you are removing some barriers of those writer's block, right? So this is what you can do. So always start with the book outline. The second problem which I have seen is people, whenever they start writing, they also do the editing along with writing. So they're writing the book and they want to make every pages perfect before they move to the next page. So, and the thing is, like, I have, I guess recently I met a person. He was also he was a podcast host, and he spent 16 years of his life for finally able to write his book.
Wow.
But the problem is, so somehow he was able to write the book, and basically he added so many quotes from different from different experts and people.
Yeah.
And most of the ideas were connected with those quotes. So without those quotes, those ideas were nothing. And he started reaching, like, once the book was written, he started reaching out to those people that, hey, can I use this quote? And most of them, they said, no, you can't.
Ah, interesting.
Now, this entire 16 years of journey and effort and is completely gone.
Yeah.
Right. So this is what happens if you try to make everything perfect. So your time is very precious.
Mm.
So you have to get the book done as soon as possible. So your number one priority should be having your first draft ready as soon as possible. Maybe give yourself a deadline that, hey, just 60 days, maximum 60 days, and I'll be having my first draft ready. It would be too bad, right? It would be too bad to read, but I would be having at least something ready.
Something there, yeah.
Right? And then maybe I'll be working on that thing. I'll be going through it. And then I'll also be taking some professional help like copy editors and proofreaders to fix it. But initially, you don't have to edit the book along with writing, right? This is really big no-no.
Yeah.
So the third is, I don't want to go very much detail into that, but yeah, let me brief that. So now, like, we are living in 21st century, but still we are writing the book the way people used to write in Stone Age. They used to, maybe they were writing on stones, right? Or
slates and stuff.
Right. We are still sitting down and writing the book. Now we have tools and resources through which we can write the book without writing the book. The first is having a professional, having a ghostwriter who can actually interview you and they write the book. If you have the money, definitely go with that. That's really speed up the entire process, and you'd be way more happier with the process. The second step, the second option is, instead of you writing the book, once you have the book outline ready, just simply start narrating the book and record everything, right? Just record everything one by one, chapter by chapter, or subchapters by subchapters. And once you have everything ready, just simply upload it on tools like rev.com or Happy Scribe, which actually do the transcription, and you'll be having something ready, or maybe hire a transcriber for that. So the thing is, you would be having, again, the first draft ready as soon as possible. So most of these experts, most of these people, they're really good at talking. They're really good at speaking or sharing those ideas while they're talking, but they're not good at writing. They're just, it's not the expertise.
Yeah.
So this is how they can solve this problem. They can simply speak, record, upload, and they have the first draft ready.
Brilliant. Yeah.
There are also some tools like Jasper.ai, which is an artificial intelligence tool. So with a few commands, you can have these tools like to write the entire book for you. So these are kind of a 21st century ghostwriters. If you are a bit creative, you can provide instruction to these tools, and they can write the entire book for you, including the description, including title and subtitle, including the back cover copy, everything of the book.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are three reasons why people get stuck, and I think I've also shared the solution on how to overcome them.
Definitely, yeah. I love the idea. This reminds me of a guest called Steve Judge, who I interviewed on the podcast, who talked about his goal about being a world champion, Olympic gold. And he said about the idea, because we often talk about 10,000 hours of mastery, and he said, I certainly didn't have 10,000 hours. I just had to make the hours count. And I think you're right. There could be this point where you could just wait for years and years, like the person 16 years, and it's too late. So there is that kind of balance, isn't there, between impatience, but getting it right, but not spending too long on it. And I love that. Well, Vikrant, I'm really enjoying the podcast. And as we kind of like wrap this up, what would be your advice to anybody listening to this podcast right now who says, you know what, this speaks to me. I have an outline, I have a draft, or I have an idea. What is your advice for them for their next steps?
Yeah, so the next step would be definitely creating the book outline quadrant. So let me explain what this book outline quadrant, maybe in maximum 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So the book outline quadrant helps you exactly understand what the book is all about and what the book is not, who this is for, who this is not for, and how this book is going to be helping them and also going to be helping you sell more books, right? So these are the benefits of the book outline quadrant. So what is the outline quadrant? So outline quadrant consists of 4 different elements. The first is the idea. Of course, you already know the book idea. Maybe you have some rough book idea. The second is why, the purpose. Why exactly do you want to write the book? And you always have to start with the why. Otherwise, you would just mess up in the marketing. So for example, if you have to get more speaking gigs, then write it over there in the outline quadrant that you need more speaking gigs so that you would be crafting the entire book accordingly. So idea, why. The third is the readers. We need to understand that you are not writing the book for yourself. You're writing the book for the reader, the end reader who's going to be reading the book. They're stuck with point A and they want to go to the point Z. You have already covered point A to point Z, and you know the process, you know the steps. And now in the book, you would be sharing those steps, right? Like how to go from point A to point Z. So this is what you have to understand, like who is the target readers, what are the pain points, why exactly they would be buying your book instead of other competitors' book, what's the demographic is, exactly where you can find these people, find everything about these people, right? So idea, why, readers. And the third is the hook of the book, right? How your book is going to be different, right?
Yeah.
And why people would be choosing your book over other books. So they're going to be thousands of books, if not millions of books on the topic. So why your book? So there's some different strategies, like how you can use it. One of the best strategies to create amazing hook is finding top 50 books on your topic and going through the 3-star reviews on Amazon, right? Read those 3-star reviews, because these 3-star reviews exactly tell you what is great about the book and what is bad about the book, what is missing in the book. And these missing elements would be the hook of your book. That, hey, like
that's
I'm going to be
very good tip. Very good tip.
So just read this outline quadrant, maybe have it on A4 sheet, write it, paste it on the wall. It gives you so much clarity about what the book is all about and why exactly you want to write a book and who this book is for and how this book is going to be different from other books.
Yeah.
Everything is just in one page, and that's going to make the entire process of writing, publishing, and also the marketing very, very easy because you have much more clarity about the entire process now.
Yeah. Brilliant. Absolutely amazing. Thank you. That's brilliant. I think there's some great steps there. I love that tip as well about the 3-star. That's a very true point. Very good. Well, Vikrant, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. If people want to find out more about the work that you guys are doing at Bestselling Book, how can they find you, or how can they discover more about you? Or maybe they might even want to come up and sign up and get a consultation call with you. So where can we find more about what you're doing?
Sure. I think there would be two types of audience listening to this. First, who has the financial resources. If you think that you have the financial resources to invest in professional service providers like writers, editors, proofreaders, marketers, simply go to bestsellingbook.com. There are plenty of testimonials and case studies. There are so many testimonials we still haven't uploaded it. We don't have enough space, but yeah, we'll be adding it in a while. But yeah, if you think that we can really help you out, simply schedule a strategy session with us. And one of our author strategists is going to exactly understand your book idea and create a book plan for you. And then we can start working from there. The second type of audience could be those people who don't have the financial resources and they want to do all of these things themselves. For them, I have a resource guide. I have a checklist, just a 1-page checklist, which exactly cover each and every steps of the entire book writing, publishing, and marketing process. Right. Everything is just on 1 page. So simply go to bestsellingbook.com/checklist, download that checklist, print it out, paste it on the wall. You can see everything on just 1 page. Right.
Wow.
So go there and download it. This checklist also comes with a blueprint which explains how to use the checklist. Right.
Brilliant.
So amazing resource. We use the same checklist for our clients as well, our one-on-one clients, done for you clients. But yeah, we have made it available for public. So if they're struggling, they can use this free resource to publish their own book as soon as possible.
I love that. Brilliant. And we'll put a reminder of that in the show notes as well. So if people want to check that out. Well, Vikrant, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yes, good luck to you and the company. And yeah, all the best for the rest of the year. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ricky. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Vikrant, for coming onto the show. It was an absolute pleasure to discuss how to write a best-selling book with you. To the listeners listening to this podcast, thank you for supporting this podcast and listening to the end. Don't forget, head over to Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. Leave us a little review. Let me and Vikrant know what you think to this episode. And also, a huge shout out, as always, to the patrons of this podcast. Thank you, Chris Lovett, Sherry Brenton, Steve McDermott, Rory Barnes, and Anthony Howe for your continued support. As always, thanks for listening to this episode and good luck unlocking the best version of yourself. Goodbye.